Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Final Fantasy Randomizer community presentation on SpeedGaming. Tonight, a spring tournament matchup in Pod E between SaintVonJester and poppadux. Both runners have a win under their belt and are looking for a second to punch their tickets to the bracket of 64. I'm RockSolid84, joined in the booth by Cheesenator. Cheesenator, how you doing tonight?
I'm great. Super happy to be here in the booth. That was a great intro, rock solid. Excited about at least the party that poppadux is running. No info yet here on SVJ's screen, but black belt, double red black. That's aggressive. I'm hoping to see some runners going fast tonight.
Yeah, you said it. Aggressive and really leaning into that black belt composition. These have been popular with the spring tournament pod flags. And going to give a lot of options for buffing magic and even some backup healing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I did not see the party creation for poppadux, so I'm not sure what kind of blessings we're working with, but on this flag set for the fans at home, all classes have one random stat or ability blessing. Sometimes it's they can use some magic that's foreign to them. Sometimes they have an extra bit of agility, vitality, something of that sort. We'll maybe see those play out. Some of them are more visible than others, but yeah, for right now, this is the information we're going with.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that can definitely make you change your strategy, because if you see something like the Sage Blessing on the red mage, which gives it access to both white magic and black magic, or maybe you see something like Thief Luck on a black belt, and that's enough for you to switch from your usual patterns. If you're used to running fighter comps, you might say, well, I like that running ability, that's going to make me change my game. And these pod flags are deceptive. Don't get it twisted. They can make for very interesting matches and a lot of decision making throughout the whole run.
It looks like our wonderful tracker tonight, Shadowed Flames, actually has the blurse information for us, so why don't I go take a quick look at that in Discord.
Way ahead of you. We've got 15% hit on the fighter. That's nice for extra hits. You might not have to go as high level as poppadux gets on the go. We're going to get a look at white magic here. Not much to see. And in black magic, we've got Zap and Slock, I guess.
Yeah, we might need to go back to the drawing board for a recrop on SVJ, so for now we're going to cast the action just from poppadux's side. And I agree, this Caneria is underwhelming to say the least. Even the weapons aren't good, so we're going to zap Garland and try and improvise from there.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of PTSD from my match last night where we didn't see any good magic until level 4. This is nice though, a bottle for 26k right off the jump, and I think I saw gold bracelets for sale +3. They were expensive, but it's nice to know that's all there in Corneria.
Yeah, and that bottle is super cheap in the item shop in Caneria. We're not going to be able to make use of it until after we get the floater, but it's only 2,000-ish, and it's worth 5% experience in gold, so you might see an early bottle purchase if we get a pile of money here in Temple of Fiends.
Yeah, and getting your vendor item early is nice because it can alter your strategy. If you don't have it by the time you're starting to think about going to the northern continent, you might, and wow, look at that, almost max money, and I think somebody in chat called this a Mazimune +2 in Topher.
That's nuts. Okay, so we've got the best weapon of the game rolled up and a bunch of cash to work with, so starting to feel like, even despite the rocky magic, that this could be a pretty free seed.
Yeah, I mean, well, Mazimune +2, it doesn't matter what party comp you're running, you love to see that. And why it's useful for the black belt is because it really helps you get up to the point where you can start doing the higher damage. And look at that, we even get a ship from Sarah. I mean, as if we needed any more good things.
Also, right now, audio is on SVJ's side, so we're hearing him get his King and Sarah items. We might actually be able to, at points, tell where he is based on the music, but I just found that amusing. So yeah, we can afford this bottle. We can afford saving items is a pretty big thing. Sometimes there are no saving items in Caneria. Sometimes there are, but you don't have the money for them. So this will make the trajectory towards our next couple of towns a lot safer.
Yeah, definitely. And just to the question in chat, which Shumbobby is addressing, if you see a plus or a minus after a weapon or armor, what that does is it basically makes it better or worse by a predictable amount. So Masamune +2 is great because you have your base Masamune, and then it's going to get to its damage, to its hit percent, and to its critical as well. All of those things are going to be improved by that +2 being after it.
Also, worth noting that while Zap is not a spell that you feel great about, it will kill just about anything in the early game because A, nobody resists time really, and B, all the early enemies have low magic defense. So Zap will get you through, Marsh Cave-ish before you start to run into inconsistencies.
Yeah, Father Time is unbeatable. And while we see poppadux zap down the pirates, I'll just continue with the blursing. There wasn't too much to see. Thief had fighter armor, and the black mage had thief swords. But the black belt had a bonus to vitality, which is nice, but you don't really need it. Red mage had a bonus to hit, and the white mage had a bonus +10 to MDef. Most of that is pretty forgettable.
All right, excited to see poppadux hit the right side of this town because level 2 magic could really make or break the seed. It's the last level where the red mage is going to get all the white magic available. What do we have here? A cure 4, life 2, heal 3. Okay, you could make one of those red mages just a dedicated white mage and not buy any of these black spells. In fact, with this kind of magic, I almost would. I would maybe get 2 copies of the fire 2 copies of the warp, and then the other red is just full good white stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, other than not having the greatest damage sweeper available to us, this is some pretty kind magic early on. We're not going to see these runners slow down in terms of finding things and getting levels, especially because the black belt has a Masamune that it can swing for higher damage enemies.
So I'm looking at the position that we're in now. We've got a lot of defense, and we've got some AoE, right, with the fire and the zap and so forth. So we've got good clearing power. We've got redundant life casts if something should go wrong. I think we're going to have pretty straightforward time here from our advance through the inner sea to the next progression. That Ruby's not going to do anything until we get the canal, though, to break out. So canal's either in marsh or ice.
Yeah, and that's going to be some interesting early divergence if we ever do get to see SaintVonJester's screen here. I think most runners are going to check level 3 and then probably go to ice. There's not a lot of love out there for Marsh Cave because it's a long dungeon that doesn't really pay you back much in terms of trap tile checks, in terms of experience that you get from the regular monsters. It's kind of a waste of time, and there's a lot of different groups in there. As we see, Fire 3 are first good sweeper at level 3.
Yeah, I would say depends on the runner. Given the proximity here to Marsh, I'm thinking, given that we're at Alphaland, at least in poppadux's case, Marsh makes more sense. It's a pretty big commitment to get from here to ice and then come back if ice doesn't have what you need. Also, you can have really short marshes. There's another feature of this flag set for chat to know about, that we don't have the incentives in their original boxes necessarily, like the crown behind the wizard's tile, so to speak. We have these loose at location incentives. So the marsh item could be in the top. There's a 4 out of 10 chance there.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I still like going right first just because there's the Crescent Lake item for free that I know I'm going to get before I go to Ice Cave. But yeah, I mean, case is definitely there for Marsh.
Yeah, I think if poppadux's route had taken him to Crescent first, we might have a different convo, but now we're kind of already over here. So we'll see if he's fighting, if he's going to burn encounters. This looks like a fight he's going to take.
Yeah, getting levels early on is pretty critical. even if you get good magic that you can buy at levels 3 and 4, you need your light warriors to be up around something like level 6 for level 3 magic, and 8 or 9 if it's level 4. So you do need to get some levels somewhere. And taking creeps and ogres, Caribs have surprisingly good XP for the early game.
Yeah, the randomizer adds a flat experience and gold bonus to each enemy. It's something, of course, that doesn't scale. There's separate scaling, but the flat bonus is really good if you find any kind of large pack early. It doesn't matter if it's 7 wolves or 7 Caribs, they'll give you something.
Yeah, so not much to be said for the armor in Crescent. Notably, poppadux did bypass the item shop because he's already got the incentive item. And look, there's the canal at Sages.
Oh, easy. All right, cool. So now we have the choice. We don't have to do either of these Inner Sea dungeons. We could break out and try out Waterfall and Ordeals. With the vendor item already in hand, it's a tough call. Like, there's not as much incentive to go up to the northern continent. We also have the Ruby turn-in, which can take us to Sarda. There's no incentive Titan's Trove today, so that's a long walking trip for just one key item.
Yeah, poppadux just bought a lot of houses and is looking for more. I'm not sure why he needs so many. I guess he's going to spam houses for the rest of his run. This is an interesting play. I suppose if you've already got the vendor item, you don't need to be as careful with money, but I would want to keep some dollars together in case I saw faster temper at, Melman Guy.
Yeah, right. Melman Magic is pretty much your last major expense with this party, so and it seems like it'll be a while before he gets there, so he's making a play to ice. I'm a fan of this. It's the proximity play. Floater is like in one of 5 different locations right now, so there's really no best pick other than what's fast for you, and ice is in theory fast. We have warp.
Yeah, you're right. Very low level party, though. They've got good magic, so they're going to have to get levels on their way there, and maybe at the doorstep of ice. This is a place where you can get stuck if you don't come in with enough houses, but poppadux made sure he had that taken care of. So one way or another, poppadux is going to be able to get levels. I'm just thinking that I might have gone to do the Ruby play just because it's a lower level monsters, you can save on the overworld, and there's always the chance to check the earth trap tiles on your way back.
Yeah, there's the great thing about this randomizer, you can make a lot of similarly strong plays and sort of arrive at the same endpoint. There are a couple dungeons that will end up being not required because there are 2 pieces of gear in the pool plus a tail that neither runner necessarily needs to win the game. Sometimes those items help a lot. The white shirt and the power gauntlet are the 2 items. As long as you don't run into one of those early after committing a lot of time and resources, you're usually not going to be put too far behind your opponent, but most dungeons are going to get cleared in the flag set.
Yeah, and depending on which party composition you're running, you may or may not be wanting to look for those ones that you can skip. Now, since poppadux has a black belt comp, there's a good chance that the tail's going to be a waste of an item for him. So that's one that's basically worthless. And if you can get into a position where you're already in go mode and you know that the last couple of things are, let's say, tail and power bonk, you don't necessarily need to go there. You can just grind up and take Topher down.
Okay, so wow, these levels are already quite good, actually, level 9. Yeah, with Fire AoE at both level 2 and 3, and 3 Black Casters, and Fire AoE being the best thing that you can take into this dungeon, I'm feeling pretty good about poppadux's chances to get through here on offense. As far as the health of the party, well, one fat thunder coming out from some random enemy's script would be a wipe, so we're going to have to see some healing between fights, I think, to take advantage of these levels that poppadux is getting.
Yeah, now that's another thing that poppadux does have going for him, though, is the fact that we did have Cure 4, we did have Heal 3, and Life 2, all at level 2. So we've got a lot of copies of those spells. As long as we're careful, we manage our spells properly, we can get through this, but I mean, it's a spicy play. I have to say, I wouldn't have tried it. So we're going to see how it works out for poppadux.
And by the way, we have a raid coming in from SpeedGaming 1. Thank you all so much. We're joined by 127 raiders. You're seeing us. We're 13 minutes into a match. We promise you there is, in fact, a second runner in this match, SaintVonJester. In fact, it's whose audio you can hear right now. His OBS was on a different scene, and we'll be back to, and it's on delay, so it'll be back to broadcasting his actual race in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, so we've got the audio though, so we can hear SVJ. We know he's there. poppadux finding some zombie dragons down in Ice Cave. Now this could be an interesting trap tile to know about because that's a good one.
Yep, I've used it just recently. It's usually safe enough and high enough experience, but they kind of need to roll around 300 HP. To be easy enough to get started on. That said, if you have something like a light axe and they roll like 200 HP, you could get going even faster. But we found the Maza early, and that's a big enabler for black belt grinds.
Yeah, so I heard you like dragons, so we put dragons all over the seed. And here are some more tasty frost dragons right here in the middle of ice. Now this is a scary place to find a grind because you do have to get out. But we have fire magic, so at least this first one's going to pay some dividends for poppadux.
Yep, we got the so it's A-side tiles tonight. That's significant because we have 2 different sets of formations that can appear on the spike tiles in this flag set using something called a tri-state, where we don't know before the seed is rolled whether it will be one or the other, but now that we have the information in-game, we can see that it's the quote-unquote A side, or the vanilla spike tiles, which have then been randomized to new locations, like this wizard tile. And beyond that, yeah, we saw one of the ice tiles in Ice Cave. It just moved over a couple steps.
Yeah, well, a little bit of French vanilla never hurt anybody. And I just want to take a second, since we have just been recently joined by this raid, now might be a good time to just introduce our runners a little bit. We are, of course, running in Pot E of the spring tournament. And both of these runners have a win. So if either one of them gets this win, they should be through to the round of 64. So we have poppadux on the left. Interesting fact about poppadux is that he's made it a tradition to play through the entire Final Fantasy series once per year for more than 20 years. This is incredible dedication. SaintVonJester, you may know if you've watched previous spring tournament videos, tournaments, and his full LARP title is Archduke SaintVonJester.
And Archduke SaintVonJester is also flying. So what I think we missed, and I'm going to make a conjecture here, is that he made the play to Marsh and found a floater. He might have had time to get to Sarda. Just looking at the clock, it's hard to say for sure. Never mind, he's going to Sarda now, so I think the floater is in Marsh, and poppadux will be getting that news as soon as he goes and picks a separate location to go to. Tail here for SVJ at Sarda. Probably not getting used with this party. He's taken Black Belt Rainbow, and he's already got pre-promotion, just about everything you could want.
Yeah, and SaintVonJester, we now know, also going with the Black Belt party comp, going with the Black Belt White Black, which is one that I like. You get experience faster with a 3-man, and you know that you're going to be able to cast every spell in the game. So for simplicity's sake, it's one that I like. Of course, there's big proponents of the Red Mage, seems to be in vogue in the community, and I'm newer here, so I'm no authority on the matter. But SVJ showing that the White Mage can get some love sometimes. I like it.
It looks like as of the time that he was in Provoca, he didn't have the money for the life magic, so he's buying 2 copies now, and I think that Red Mage is coming back, but he's not immediately menuing it, so maybe not. All right, never mind. He's going with the 3-person, as you said, and we should clarify in chat the reason that you want sometimes 3 characters alive and not 4 is that experience is distributed amongst all living non-stoned members, so you actually do get levels faster when somebody is not alive.
Yeah, I want to do something with that phrase non-stoned members, but instead I'm going to shout out that poppadux did find the adamant in Ice Cave. I checked another chest just for good luck before leaving. That's going to be continuing this route divergence between these two, although SVJ is now hot on his heels in Ice Cave.
Yep, so whatever this adamant turns into, they're both going to end up with it. I guess for poppadux's sake, you want it to be something that, was worth the fact that he came here by canoe rather than by airship. But other than that, early in the race, too close to really call anything. I think the only thing that would really set poppadux back too far is if after turning in the adamant, he decides, Marsh, not my favorite, and goes to Sarda, goes to Waterfall, goes to Ordeals, because the differentiator we've seen in a number of these races in the tournament is who gets the early floater.
Yeah, and as we were saying before, a lot of runners will avoid Marsh until possible. poppadux might be in that camp, and it's too bad because you just don't know what's going to be there. When you've got the ship, when you've got the canal, when you've got the ruby, there's as good a chance as any that it could be something, but you just don't know. You've got to play to what you like, you've got to play your percentages, and you've got to play your proximities. poppadux now leaving Ice Cave, so we're going to see what happens. Does he go to the northern continent? Doesn't really look like it.
By the way, this is a little bit of a dicey dive here for SVJ. He didn't get any levels before doing Marsh, and certainly before doing Ice, as we see he's level 5. So if he wipes here before getting the Adamant, he might have to redive. Doing anything at level 5 after the airship is, well, it's risky, bold. It's one of those. You're working with very little HP, so a stiff breeze can blow your party away.
Yeah, and you don't have access to level 3 magic either, so that can be problematic. Even you can see that SVJ has some spells bought but can't cast them yet. That always hurts when you know you've got the magic but you just can't use it yet, and you're just sort of running a little bit faster than where you are.
Yep, that's only on the red mage though. White and black get charges for 3 at 5. Red mage gets them at 6.
Good to know. And SVJ does have the white and black, so we'll have access to that magic, at least a few copies of it.
This tile is terrible, and this is unfortunately looking like a wipe. Yeah. And before he got to the adamant as well, but oh, he's actually just going to piece out of Ice Cave entirely, which I think is fine too. Rediving is risky already. So now we've got different rooting interests among our players. SVJ is going to really want the Adamant in Ice Cave to be a dud, and poppadux really needs it to pay off. By the way, he's making the play over to Volcano, so I think this is a play for a grind, because honestly, this party is going to have a little bit of trouble with carry. Your best shot against carry is like cast a bunch of Invis 2s and hope that the black belt stays up to get through it with a Maza, but you don't have much in the way of carry killing magic.
Well, you do though. You have the carry killing magic. He's got 3 brat casters.
No, carry resists poison stone. That's.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking about Kraken. Yeah, being here in Volcano doesn't make unless he's looking for a grind, I don't know why you would come here, because you don't want to check these boxes necessarily. You've got the vendor item already, and you don't really need any more weapons and armor. It's mostly just about getting experience on your light warriors at this point. Yep.
Here's a Frostwolf tile, which is just fine around this level to throw some Fire 2s into, but it's nothing that you would spend time on. SVJ has decided to make the play all the way over to Ordeals. Still hasn't gotten more levels, though Ordeals usually has some grindable encounters. Are we burning an encounter here? Are we looking for a fight? We're burning an encounter. Okay. Gargoyle tile rolled into the Grey Worm slot in Volcano, so that's not grindable either.
Yeah, poppadux is opening a lot of boxes, and I can't help but feel like this is just burning time against SVJ. Although, look at that. There's a ribbon. That is a pretty good reason to want to open them.
Yeah, in Final Fantasy Randomizer, the question of how many chests do you open and then when do you stop, those are something that you ask with every party, and you ask throughout your seed. A lot of runners want that first ribbon to really feel comfortable, and the time at which they care about having it varies a lot. But this is 21 minutes first ribbon. That's actually probably ahead of the curve. poppadux now has a ribboned lifecaster, which really changes the calculation of what dungeons can I take on, what bosses can I take on.
Yeah, and poppadux heading out of Volcano, perhaps wisely realizing that carry is, respecting carry as you really got to do. Carry hits just as hard sometimes in these flags as the later bosses, so you don't want to go all the way down there and wipe.
Yeah, worth noting, he could have warped out here, so I'm not sure if he forgot about warp or isn't used to using it to make a quick exit from the volcano. He is just walking it out, but he got some experience on the way, a level from that bull scorpion fight. All right, not saving little cavalier. Let's throw down a house. There we go. Yeah. So poppadux just wanted to check the armory. It's just a opportunistic. I'm here, and there are treasures, and rewarded with the ribbon. So let's see a play into Marsh, hopefully. Meanwhile, for SVJ, fighting everyone's least favorite pack in the universe, Gargoyles with Glare.
Yeah, Argoyles are never fun just because they have a lot of HP for how much experience they pay off. And they tend to sit on spells and be difficult to take down, living up to the reputation here for SaintVonJester.
Yep. Both runners flying a bit by the seat of their pants in this lead. I just noticed that SVJ had, until that Pro Cape, 0 armor on any character. Not even so much as like a copper or silver bracelet from the store. So, you know, again, stiff breeze, but thankfully this mummy pack is going to get a lot of levels for his 2 characters, already up to 9. So suddenly feeling a little bit more at ease about his chances to make it out of ordeals alive.
Yeah, well, you say that, but we are talking about level 9 here. Unfortunately, pulling out a slab, but with the airship, at least it's still something we could check.
All right, and we are a credit scene away from seeing what the adamant turns into for poppadux. Hooray Dwarf just missed. Oh, wow, no, Hooray Dwarf, in fact, just goes down. Herb. All right, we don't know the end result of this yet. What we do know is that we're getting more experience.
Yeah, so adamant to herb, we're going to see pretty soon if that extra check that poppadux has is going to end up making a difference versus SaintVonJester, who has the airship already, has had it for some time, and ended up deciding not to continue chasing that item in ice.
Yep. All right. So they're both making long treks to their next destination. What are we looking to see happen here? I think in both runners' cases, we're looking for levels. And we've already passed by a number of the seed's grind tiles without anything jumping out. There were some dragons and ice, but like you can do better. So I think in SVJ's case, I'd love to see him stop just anywhere for question mark. All right, SVJ is throwing community like metagame to the winds. He's going to promote his black belt. Not sure what we're getting out of this, but it's going to be an adult-looking black belt now, so it's going to be taller.
Okay, so there must be magic that SaintVonJester wants.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, well, he's got a ribbon, but he doesn't. It's poppadux that has that. So I don't know why SVJ is doing this, and I've got to assume that he's got a reason. As Shumbabi is pointing out in chat, oh no, it's Will Cleosis actually. You know, SVJ's been around for a long time, so knows how to play this game. Got to have reasons for these choices.
Yep. No doubt there's something like, oh hey, hello Ribbon and Cardia. There's something like fast must be promotion locked for the Black Mage. I can imagine maybe 3rd slot Melmond is the reason. I don't think he's been to anywhere else where he would have seen a promotion locked black spell yet. But yeah, so both runners now have a ribbon. SVJ has some tall light warriors and is clearing out the rest of Cardia as well, so really not satisfied yet with that ribbon. Wants more, maybe looking for like bracelets, pro capes, pro rings, those sorts of things. You can get some of that out of the shops. Defense sword is kind of a high roll pickup that you sometimes will find.
Yeah, I'm going to have to stay on this whole anti-box train that I'm on. They've both got a ribbon. So yep. I don't really know why you need to spend all this time going and opening boxes. All they have to do is grind. Well, I mean, in SaintVonJester's case, just giving up the MDEP of the black belt. So I guess that makes sense. But yeah, I don't see why they need boxes right now.
Also, worth pointing out for strategy purpose here, poppadux had a fight here on the overworld on the way to Sarda, where he'll pick up his tail, where 3 of the light warriors died. He life 2'd everyone, so all light warriors are level 14. I think if you were preparing to do a solo or a 2-person grind with your black belt and start funneling experience, you would leave someone dead there. So I think we're going to see poppadux spend a substantial amount of time on the seed with 4 Light Warriors, and only go down to the 1 or 2 right when that grind shows its face. He's got an opportunity to pass by Earth Cave here and do what you said earlier, which is check those grind tiles. SVJ also bringing up all 4 members, so really wants promoted magic casters getting levels. It seems to be his game plan.
Yeah, and I don't have any problem with that. Basically, you're going to want your magic casters to be, depending on what levels you need access to, but you're probably going to want them to be in the high teens-ish, no matter what, going into Topher. So you might as well keep them up, make use of those sweeper spells, and just find a good grind. They haven't checked everything yet, and here poppadux is now in Earth Cave, may very well come across something with a 3-eye grind. So it makes sense. Keep everybody up until you get a little bit more information.
Yeah, we've got a warp casters to consider. You know, if characters die, you want to still have someone alive to warp you out of a dungeon in the event of some kind of damage poison or stone poison. It's just like all the different. We could go forever just naming the things that can kill you on scripts.
Yeah, we could just restrict ourselves to poison, and there's a whole list right there. Poppadux checking the 3rd trap tile, bit of a bust. This is only at best a grind that you would take to mid levels. Helpful to have to get your caster some levels, and poppadux is firing them down. So let's see how this goes.
Funnily enough, so poppadux in Earth Cave is seeing the vanilla spike tile for the location that SVJ is in, which is in Waterfall. SVJ just encountering some random mummies here, and we'll see shortly what's on this spike tile. Waterfall, kind of a weird dungeon to grind in. Sometimes you'll do it solo because the upside is that this grind tile in here doesn't advance the encounter table. The downside is that if you don't have a mage alive, you'll have to walk it out.
Yeah, and poppadux deciding not to take any more of those whiz mummy fights is comfortable with the mid-level that he's already at, and I understand that. You could pretty much make a case either way, but I think it makes sense to keep going.
Yeah, I think poppadux in this current setup could complete every Fiend dungeon that he has access to, and indeed could get through Sea and Sky on account of that break, but we don't quite yet have all the materials we need. poppadux, though, making a play deep into Earth. This could be for the treasure. More likely it's for the grind tiles on floor 4. But it could also just be, hey, I'm here. Lich needs to die before the end of the siege, so let's not come back.
Yeah, that was my first thought, actually, is that poppadux is starting to think, well, what if I end up not seeing the floater for a long time? And at this rate, he's not going to. So, yeah, it sort of makes sense. Just start killing things that you're close to. It'll get you some experience, and you won't have to come back here.
Yep. SVJ does a big old reset all the way back out of the waterfall, so not at all interested. I didn't actually see what the robot handed over to him. I'll have to check our tracker's notes.
It was the crown.
The crown. Oh, that's fascinating. So he's going to gamble that crown is not needed, because that's an unknown, the end of that fetch quest. So that's actually 2 dungeons now where SVJ has kind of orphaned the key item. All right, so Melman Magic was not the reason to promote, so not sure yet. There could have been something at... Nope. All right, well, he's got a promoted party. I'm just trying to understand the rationale, but I'll have to ask him after the game.
So white slots 1 and 4, those were open before he promoted?
The red mage was never going to get that slot 4 life, but everyone already has life 2 from the early levels, so there must have been something else that he saw.
Yeah, well, anyways, SaintVonJester fighting Astos and apparently does have the crown.
Oh, okay. I saw him reset to the middle of the river system. I thought that he had reset his entire waterfall dive.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but anyways, we're going to get to see what this is in just a minute. Astos goes down, level 11, wow. And we get the TNT, so the quest chain continues.
Okay.
Now, one thing, oh yes, this is what I was gonna hope for, is going to the back of this closet and checking these trap tiles. This is a heads-up play, could be something good in here.
Yeah, this is probably everyone's favorite spot to find a black belt grind because there are no encounters in here, and it's next to the outside, so you can save, come in. There's absolutely no danger that a random encounter will cost you your grind and your stone's throw away from the save if you're at all worried. Let's see though if Blue Dragon is doable. I mean, I think he has the Maza, right? Because the Maza was early.
Yeah, Mazamune was in Topher, top left.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
a blue dragon there is something that you put in the back of your mind and you say, okay, if I don't get anything better, this is a way to get to level 32 for my black belt.
Poppadux, by the way, just taking down Lich, so that's actually the first orb lit for either of our runners here at the 33-minute mark. TNT from Waterfall from Crown turns into the Oxiel. SVJ barrels in here with key in hand, is able to get all these 8 chests, so really, really lucrative spot to clear out. Worth an Ice Sword, Flame Armor that we can't do anything with. Alright, not the best, but the Ice Sword can go on to the Red Wizard.
Yeah, we're going to hope that we don't have to rely on that as a backup, but if we do, we do. Poppadux, on the other hand, still in the boat, looks to be heading to the northern continent without Oxiale.
Yeah, I mean the Oxiale, there's no way to have it, right? You've got to go Waterfall, Crown, back out, TNT, and then Oxiale. So it's going to be a double dip for anyone. I saw him angling right. I was thinking, oh, maybe he's going to South Dock Elfland, but this looks like the Ordeal's Waterfall play. So what we foretold earlier is coming to pass. Poppadux is going to clear out everything that's not Marsh Cave and then do Marsh last and get a late floater.
Yep, and you can't fault that decision making. It's totally sound, just unfortunately not working out in this particular seed for Poppadux.
Yep. SVJ teased Volcano right there and said, nah, and is going elsewhere. Back to Melmond for slab translation. That's what it's got to be, because we found the slab in Ordeals. Our runners are just in very different situations right now. It's actually, even with SVJ having the airship, it's hard to say he has a clear advantage because Poppadux has done some unique things as well. He's had the level advantage for some time, and I think SVJ didn't even pick up that Maza, right? He might have just barreled straight into Garland.
Yeah, that's possible. SaintVonJester now in Volcano, likely going to check the armory, would be my guess, and get that second ribbon. So that's going to be good. He'll have 2, and it'll sort of shore up the decision made earlier to promote early, because now he can have the second ribbon on his black belt and doesn't need the MDEF from the pre-promotion levels.
Yep, absolutely true. Once you've got 2 ribbons, it's basically a wash with promotion for this party. So no harm, no foul. Poppadux throwing out some resisted fire 3s into these man cats. Would actually be better off casting Zap, I think, to get through this pack, but he's just deciding he's not interested and he's going to run. But he's getting put to sleep, so he might not make it out. His HP is pretty good. This is more of an annoying pack than a lethal pack. They're hitting for 2 hits with Sleep Touch, and he's fine.
Yeah, interesting. SaintVonJester, at least for now, put the ribbon on one of the red mages. I guess that makes sense. It can also cast life, and you've got some offensive magic there. So worst comes to worst, you make it through the fight and bring everybody back up.
Poppadux is taking advantage of how Warp works in the randomizer. It's not available before you do Castle Ordeals in vanilla, so you would never know this, but Warp actually lets you backtrack through the pillars. I won't go into exactly how it works, but needless to say it does. And so if you pick wrong in our randomized pillar maze, which is a feature of the randomizer, you can just warp your way back.
Yeah, and so that's one advantage that Poppadux will have coming through Ordeals that SVJ didn't have. With some levels and access to that spell, probably will get it done a little bit quicker.
Yep. If you look on your screen right now and you are a player of the vanilla game, you'd be like, oh no, sorcerers, they cast trance, they have death touch. In randomizer, they tend to be harmless because the average enemy will not roll a bad script, and sorcerers have no physical stats to speak of. They hit for like 2 hits, 2 damage at most sometimes.
Yeah, I think the way people usually put this is they say, well, in Randomizer, the things that normally are awful turn out to be easy, and the things that are easy normally turn out to be awful, and you get wolves with stone poison. That's just the way it goes. So
here's the squint. I was gonna say the squint, or not squint. Glare Gargoyle pack for poppadux, but with 1 ribbon, he would be safe and he gets away.
Yeah, seeing everybody's favorite, the Gargoyles there. SaintVonJester is heading through Ice Cave pretty quick, not stopping on either of those grinds, at least not for now. Is just going to continue to come through and get the pickup, which is going to be coming along shortly.
Now, he wiped on that lobster, or that seafood party platter pack, and he's betting that it's not the incentive, because he still doesn't know what's in that top right chest.
Yeah, that's too bad. Of course, it's not going to take too much longer to find it, and he's probably got warp shots by now. Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Chad asking where was Rod? That's a good question. I don't recall seeing that Rod pick up, but I bet Shadow did. So I'll take a quick look here in the notes.
I think we can deduce by what the runners have and haven't done respectively that it actually comes off this adamant in Ice Cave. Because, yeah, poppadux has already cleared Earth while SVJ does not have the Rod in his inventory yet.
Okay, well, maybe indirectly. Shadow has that its Rod is at Elves. So whatever...
Yeah, it was adamant to herb, yeah, to Rod. Alright, poppadux is on the northern continent. This is the waterfall play. It can't be a sea play because waterfall leads to Oxyale. So he's making progress, right? Everyone needs an Oxyale to win. So it's not like waterfall is bad. It's just getting here by ship is going to be a time loss compared to getting here by floater.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, it's not the worst thing in the world to find Oxyale here because... well, then you can just keep going and deal with the Sea Shrine and not have to come back.
Yep. But in a better life. SVJ is barreling down the volcano. We'll see if he does any greed checks along the way. There are a couple of chests that don't cost too many steps to take, but he's already got the 2 ribbons, as we said, so there's not too much left that he needs. As for killing Carrie, I mean... I don't actually love this setup, so that fight could be dicey. I'll be looking forward to see what strategy he employs.
Yeah, dicey, but probably SVJ's got enough sort of diversity now in terms of spells and the ribbons and some HP that really the only thing to worry about is likely just bad luck or a big sweeper. You were talking about the thunder. I think would be a problem here.
Yeah, only 2 of the light warriors right now are resisting things like thunder, damage, poison, and so on. The boss 1 spell and skill list isn't that terrifying, except for those skills that come off of Tiamat 1, which is thunder, damage, poison, blaze, and blizzard. And sometimes there are some key disables like slow, sleep, hold, those sorts of things that can take out your melee.
Yep, so here we go. SaintVonJester healing up, showing proper respect to carry 1, as you really need to do. I think we were talking about this before. Carry 1 is no joke. It seems like it should be, but it really isn't. So we've got, looks like maybe a Bane Sword going with damage strats with Fade and no switching to Invis.
Yeah, it doesn't have the charges for Fade yet.
Okay, but anyways, going with buff strats, which I like. One of the biggest problems with carry is how hard it tends to hit, but there's a big ol' ice too. Yeah,
Invis 2 should negate any physical threat from carry, so at this point the only fear is the non-ribboned users getting scripted by something. Meanwhile, poppadux settling into an Agama grind. Oof, goodbye Gene. Settling into an Agama grind here in the waterfall, starting to kill off his characters.
Yep, and well, you called it. Carrie is taking out the main damage dealer. We've got, it looks like, at least one Fade cast and a couple of Fire 3s to throw out there, but that's not going to be enough to kill a 600 to 900 HP carry.
Yeah, there's Quad X available, so if we can get enough chip damage in, it's possible Quad X finishes the remainder of the range. I would definitely use up as many Fire 3s and so forth as possible before using the Quad X, because if Quad X misses, that's just a lost spell charge that doesn't deal damage.
Yeah, we might be in that range. SaintVonJester has wisely chosen to put the ribbon on his black magic casters, and we might be looking at some very careful play here.
Yep. It doesn't seem like the red mage equipped that ice sword at any point, and also has now been put to sleep. Sleep only lasts 1 round in FF1.
So SVJ putting all the marbles on Quad X, using up all the damage magic before letting it go, as ribbon and some invis casts protecting. This might just work out.
Yep. I'm not sure how many invis charges went up though. Carrie did just fast, which is going to increase the odds that she can break through that evasion, but continues to be very cast happy.
Here's the Quad X.
Oh, it's enough!
SaintVonJester shows us how it's done.
Wow. All right. That's, veteran sensibility there. Just setting up for the maximum potential success rate for Quad X. You love to see it. That's the first orblet for SVJ at the 43-minute mark.
Yeah, now I just have to take a second and just geek out on this. That is what they call in the community a veteran move. SaintVonJester saw that coming miles away and said, look, I've got 50 damage Fire 2s here. I'm just going to dump them all and drop a Quad X, and it's definitely going to work at this scaling. Very impressive play.
Yep. So each runner, again, making really good moves right now, while SVJ cleared out that orb with a really epic fight. poppadux already 23 on a solo black belt who's just going at it with this Maza +2 on the Agama tile and Waterfall. Assuming that he's got enough healing resources to walk out safely and takes this grind, up into the 30s with a ribbon in hand, I think poppadux should be able to make it out safely with all levels. Caster Blessing, no Caster Curse. I do not want to see poppadux die at any point here because that would probably be run over.
Yeah, no, nothing like a nice Agama grind, especially when you're packing a Moz Immune. Is going to have to walk it out, but we'll have lots of levels to add some MDef. The only question is heal pots. Did you get a look at what that's looking like?
Well, we're going to see right now. So moving the black belt up to the top, that helps the initiative. 73 heal pots should be more than enough. I think we're going to be fine. Agamas don't tend to be very physically threatening, and when you're one-shotting them, you don't even take damage in half the fights.
Yeah, exactly. And we've only got the one, which is slower than the B-side version of this, but definitely a lot safer. And in a situation like this, I'll take it.
SVJ, now the proud owner of a cube. Also the proud owner of 2 Dead Light Warriors, as a crack has been uncorked here on the overworld. He is taking overworld fights. This is a great place to do it. We're in a zone that is often something people grind from like the 10 to 15 range.
Yeah, and Zombols with crack, that can be nasty, but both of them are already through ordeals, which I think would have been the main threat for that. Do we see them again in Topher? I feel like we don't.
No Zombols in Topher. Zombie dragons, no Zombols.
Fair enough. So SVJ, of course, taking out some steak, as is, I think one of SVJ's subscriber emotes is a steak, so fitting. And SVJ continuing on now to check, I guess, for just houses maybe here in the caravan.
Fun fact that I only learned at the beginning of this tournament, because apparently still learning new things about Final Fantasy Randomizer. The name of the Oasis vendor is Underhill, and the U pod in this tournament is the Underhill pod.
Yeah, how do we know that? Because I saw that too, and I'm like, that. I feel like that's a reference to Lord of the Rings or something.
I mean, I would certainly guess that an RPG of this era is inspired by Lord of the Rings, but it's probably from either the instruction manual or the strategy guide, one of the two.
I mean, shouldn't he be under desert?
Under something. Underwear? We don't know. poppadux is still taking out Agamas and is rolling somewhere in the high 20s right now. Hasn't taken off the Maza, but it frankly does not matter. If you're one-shotting it, you don't even need to menu to change the weapon. Level 31. So we're actually going to see if poppadux wants to make the 32 or the 42 shot call.
Yeah. Now for me, that comes down to two things. A, do I have ribbon? And B, do I have fast? poppadux does have one ribbon. Don't know if he's got fast though. And he's healing up. Looks like he may keep going.
Yeah, this HP pool is pretty impressive. I think the black belt rolled up on vitality or flat health because 761 is abnormally high for 32. You're usually looking at about 100 fewer HP than he currently has at this juncture.
It is Cheesenator. You know this game very well. That was a plus 20 vitality bonus to the black belt.
Okay, wow. So this black belt, normally black belts hit 999 HP around 48 or 49. So this black belt could actually, well, you know, we're probably not going to see it this game because poppadux has called the grind over. Grind's canceled. Leaving is now in. We're going to do a 32 plus black belt this seed and rely on fast. Thankfully, that Maza is such a strong weapon. We can just slap that on a red mage, and we'll have two respectable melee fighters in Temple of Fiends.
Yeah, we will. I think I saw Saber somewhere. Take a look at the tracker notes. Just want to shout out, of course, Shadow Flame is not just randomly throwing things there in chat. He is our official tracker for tonight. Doing a great job, as always. One of the better trackers that I have had the pleasure of working with. And calling out this this blurs and also putting in an estimate here, saying that the estimates have black belt at max HP at level 41 with plus 20. Does that work out with your estimates, Cheesenator?
Yeah, I could absolutely see that. SVJ taking a little while to get through this big old pack in the sea because only one damaging sweeper in the inventory that does damage, well, respectable damage to water type enemies is that White Mage's Fade at level 5. Still rocking, Fire 1, Fire 3. Not the greatest spells in this dungeon.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Sea Shrine is an incentive today, and we're still looking for a chime before we're in no mode as a collective up here in the casting booth. SVJ needs both the chime and the rod, but the rod is a few fetch quest turn-ins away for him.
Yeah, so we're likely going to see that pretty soon. There are also trap tiles in here, and SVJ has not yet done a grind. May check those as well.
Yeah. And SVGA, I think even more so, needs to grind because there's no Maza fallback plan right now, unless by some stroke of inspiration he ends up full clearing the boxes on the first floor of Temple of Fiends and gets it late.
Yeah, and wow, it really makes this race interesting to see how SaintVonJester does have the floater, which is such a big advantage, but yet didn't follow that quest chain. And arguably, it's anybody's race still. At this point.
I agree. It's always interesting as a viewer and a caster to see two distinct and non-overlapping advantages, because it really leaves intrigue right until the final whistle.
Yeah, and poppadux actually with I think more item checks done. It looks like getting the Oxyale now and. Probably going to go to Marsh next, maybe, get that floater?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You're here on the continent, and you know that your only options left are sea, which you just sailed all the way back from, and Marsh. So I feel like the quick play is... poppadux, don't do it! Go back, you're right there! You're so close to Marsh! No!
Yeah, and poppadux just biting on the Oxyale and saying, well... might as well go back since it seems like I have to. But making a turn, maybe going for the South Dock?
Yeah, this could be... there could be a reason to visit Elfland here, maybe clear out the key locks, something like that. Okay, I think we're going to see a Marsh play. I got so worried there for a minute, but I think we're going to be fine.
Yeah, well, I bet it'd be interesting to ask poppadux this if we get a chance to interview him later. But sometimes you're witnessing a runner make decisions in real time, and it could have been one of those things where poppadux was thinking about it and
Yeah, just
ended up
needed his
deciding to
light
come
warriors
back
up. It
here.
looks like he rocked just a solo black belt into Astos. So this like Elfland into marsh routing got him a full party.
Yeah, now I wonder what is. Well, poppadux is the one who bought all the houses. It's amazing how much money poppadux has, especially considering that that was done.
Oh no, he left. Well, he's going back.
Yeah, we're seeing
Oh,
it. We're
all
seeing the
right.
cognitive dissonance.
Sending telepathic waves of luck to Poppadux. Meanwhile, SVJ, gonna need some luck on these breaks because breaks are how we're gonna get through this Kraken. I'm pretty sure. Bane Sword as well. So if we can stack Invis enough times to make our party unhittable, and there's a couple of ribbons involved here too, I think SVJ can't lose this, right? Because even if you run out of breaks, that Bane Sword will eventually hit.
Yeah, definitely. You and SVJ agreeing, I would have just swung straight for the fences and gone Braxton Banes right out of the gate. But this is probably the smarter play because you can make sure that you will eventually get there. The only thing that I'd be worried about are that Thunder skill and the things you mentioned that could fall in the first boss pool as SaintVonJester bracks it down.
Yep. Broken into pieces. You love to see that was only like I think the second Brack attempt that came out, so really, really good there for time's sake, not to have to like wait until the 10th or the 11th and so on. Picks up a copy of Ice 3 on the Black Wizard. At level 20, the Black Wizard will be able to start casting that. Going back into C because the key item was not on the left side, so we're gonna have to clear right side as well. Still looking for a chime.
Yeah, and there it is.
Get the devil.
So SaintVonJester saying, I've got my chime, peace, I'm out. And that's a play that I agree with. You might as well bounce over there now. At this point, SaintVonJester is still looking for the rod to get into go mode. Doesn't know that it's not going to be in Sky, though. That is going to be the white shirt, I think?
Yeah, it's sometimes easy to forget if you've been holding on to a fetch quest for a while and haven't since turned it in. So we're going to hope here that he doesn't forget about his adamant because that would lead to a full clear of Sky for nothing. So he's going west. That's already a...
Could be slab.
Oh
no.
All right, here... Either he's galaxy braining this and he's going to go mode Sky and then turn in his adamant, or he's about to full clear Sky.
Yeah, now, notably though, SaintVonJester doesn't have a lot of levels, so it actually still makes sense to do what SaintVonJester is doing and open the boxes because it's kind of a walking grind combined with potential gear pickups.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing you can find in this dungeon is Defense Sword. We know where Maza is, he's not going to get it. We know he has 2 ribbons, a third one doesn't really change the calculation of whether you're going to win. So he's got to hope to soak a lot of good experience from this to make it worth the time.
Yeah, so opening boxes, not sure if he picked up that one in the middle there. So far, nothing that's very usable. poppadux has to do the Sail of Shame back into the Inner Sea, having picked up a quest chain item that leads into Matoya. Could have maybe gone straight down for the river dock. I wonder if that might have been a better play.
North docking Matoya into... I don't know, it's actually kind of close because you have to not just North dock Matoya, you have to wrap around the Ordeal section of the northern continent to get down there, and then you're still looking at a kind of long wrap around to the floater. So I think staying in the Inner Sea here, you get a faster floater turn in after you ping off Matoya. He doesn't know that it's going to turn into the floater, but I think this is fortuitous.
Yeah, okay, so absolutely, we'll be very close to the desert from this point. SaintVonJester, if you're pulling for SaintVonJester, you know, get your fingers crossed and hope for an early item in Sky because this one could be. And a white shirt's not going to be something SaintVonJester needs.
Yeah, what's funny is I don't know how SaintVonJester's feeling right now. Is he feeling behind? How's he feeling about his party situation? Whatever. You know, poppadux has to feel behind getting a 56-minute floater, but I think Papa would be relieved to know that he's in a substantially better position than he realizes, because SVJ behind in levels and also, potentially on this sky full clear, but one orb ahead, and it's a long dungeon, so tough to call yet. But I feel like poppadux is going to go. Wait. That's the instead of white shirt. In less than greater than. SVJ is out. He knows that this dungeon will not have what he needs. He'll probably just finish this room here, and then head out to turn in the adamant, maybe? Look in your inventory. Okay, he's warping, so he knows he doesn't need anything else here. But then what does he do?
Yeah, well, it looks like he's going to go ahead and try to take down Tiamat at least before leaving.
That sounds good. Yep.
Yeah, it's fine. We've got the means to do that. So SaintVonJester then probably knows now where everything is.
Mm-hmm. So poppadux making the neighborhood play here by Crescent Lake, flying right over to Volcano. This should be a one and done dive. I can't imagine. The carry was not that high HP anyways. It felt like somewhere in the neighborhood of 600 to 700 with when that quad exit came down. So poppadux should 1 or 2 round this fight.
Yeah, we are in a foot race at this point. Now, interestingly though, poppadux does not have either the chime or the cube. So although he's got the level advantage and he's about to clear this volcano a lot faster, the question then becomes how quickly is he going to find the chime? And I'm just going to refer to our notes here. The chime was in C, so that might take a while to find.
Yeah, it's in the very first chest that you would check if you're planning to go right, but also because it is on the first floor and it's not too far out of the way, I have seen people dip over to that right box and check it before going full left. It's kind of like if you play Link to the Past Rando, you get into Ganon's Tower and you check those 2 chests on the right first before going full left. Anyways, I don't know. It's meta play right now in the tournament to go full left when you have to kill Kraken, and then come back out and do mermaids if you don't see the key items. So we'll see, but poppadux not in that situation yet. Currently just needs to take care of what's in front of him, which is carry.
Yep, so Chad asking where poppadux grinded, and it's not going to...
There's Agama's in Waterfall.
Ah, yes, thank you. Yes, Agama's in Waterfall, there's just one Agama, but it was more than enough to get up to, I think, level 32-ish.
All right, poppadux pulls carry, decides to go for just swings on the non-black belt character. Realizes that they're not going to contribute meaningfully to this fight. Blaze comes out, cooks the party, but not enough to stop that black mage from tempering. Those fists are pounding though. That's 711 damage. So very convenient for poppadux to deal that much and take out carry in 1 round.
Yeah, 711 damage is very convenient indeed. So poppadux not wasting any time on that carry fight. That one that we saw SaintVonJester do so expertly, but doing it a lot faster with the punch mage.
Mm-hmm. And he's doing his slab turn-in, so he knows what he's got left. This slab turn-in leads to the cube. Poppadux is halfway to what remains for his go mode thereabouts. SVJ healing up on the Bridge of Destiny, so if we run into a war mech, I don't think we take it, but these fighters are certainly a fantastic find. Fighters tend to be low HP, and they're very high experience yield.
Yeah, something like 10k for the 2 of them split between the party members, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll be 2,500 each. Oh, even more. The item bonus, I guess. And SaintVonJester getting, a little bit of deja vu. Another pack of 2 fighters, why not?
Mm-hmm. I've been corrected by, and thank God for trackers. Can everyone in chat just get some tracker hype? Shadow informs us that the bottle will turn into the cube, not the slab. So poppadux will still check it anyways, hoping for chime. But yeah, that's go -1 for poppadux.
Yeah, he still has to go to C for that chime, unfortunately. Checking the slab, though, first.
All right, SVJ healing up on the doorstep of Tiamat, the Queen of the Dragons. feels, I think, very well prepared for this because we're even stronger now than at the point where you faced Kraken, and it's the same strategy. You invis up and you cast Break. And you might even power Gauntlet and try a couple swings with this, like, 20, 21-ish black belt. I'm not sure quite where we're at levels-wise.
Yeah, we likely won't get to that with these two Brackcasters firing away, but it could happen. Stranger things have happened, and yeah, Brack saw almost 30% chance to land, so it should happen for SaintVonJester.
All right, that's the first two going out ineffective. The third one comes out, and it's also ineffective. We've got 5 more shots, but there is that Bane sword in the back pocket, and Bane is about half the chance of break. So can still work, it'll just take a little bit longer, but the White Mage is going to keep us safe and healed.
Yeah, I must have commentator cursed it because, you know, we are now well beyond the realm of statistic possibility with about 7 Bracks now going. There's an 8th one, and it really should have landed by the 3rd one, the latest.
Yep. Gregory Puffin in chat earlier was noting how he typically goes 0 for 14 with Brack. Yeah, I know some snakebit runners in the community who have, but we're crossing our fingers that it doesn't take all of our charges here today, because if we don't, then it's going to be a while. And yeah, that black belt is stunned. I think a hold came out and hit the black belt earlier. I believe that, as we saw, the 2 ribbons are on mages where they should be, so the black belt is not contributing any physical damage. White mage is getting some good hits in there with fade, so is the red mage, so we could get there with physical damage. Tia has between 1,000 and 1,500 HP on this flag set. Going back to Invis strats after seeing Tiamat just wreck our black belt, and poppadux makes the right side play and gets the quick chime. That's pretty huge.
That is huge. I mean, another question for poppadux: was he thinking of going right side fully, or was he doing what you said and just grab the right chest before you go left?
Either way, really nice pickup, and not that uncommon of a thing to do, right? It's like you're passing within 10 or 12 tiles of that box when you come in, so you might as well.
Yeah, look, Tiamat is still up. Has to be 100 health left at that.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised we haven't maybe seen a Quad X. I think Quad X might get there at this juncture. Oh, does it share a charge with Break, though? Yeah, it does. Okay, that's why we haven't seen it.
Yeah, and again, you can't fault the decision-making here. SaintVonJester dumped a lot of Bracks, and they just didn't go. It looks like we might squeak it out, though, with Tempers landing on this red mage. It doesn't really matter. The Ice Sword is still not doing very much, but...
Yeah, that's an Ice Sword +1, so it's got a little bit of extra help in the crit department. He's up to 3 Tempers. Yeah, this will get there, but the question is, does our HP last? Because we've lost 2 Light Wars. Bane Sword, though, solves the riddle for us, gets those 2 Light Wars to 21, and also answers that the Black Belt has not yet hit that sort of physical attack threshold, is only at level 20.
Yeah, well, I mean, I said it before and I'll say it again. I mean, this is just the veteran play. I mean, in this case, it was sort of just, well, you ran out of options. What do you have left? But, you know, not wasting any time in switching gears, going to those Tempers, having the Ice Sword equipped on the Red Mage is something that a lot of people wouldn't have had thought to do ahead of that fight, just in case something like that happens. And there you saw it all.
Okay, so poppadux is on Kraken. Oh, and first break works for poppadux. I was about to say, you never know how this could go if the Black Belt doesn't put out enough damage quickly and the other characters get punched out before a break lands. It could go south, but first time's the charm. SVJ turning in the herbs, so we're going to be in go mode here in seconds. And that's the rod. SVJ's got 1 orb left. He's going to go right over to Earth Cave and get it. So he's in the progression lead, but I'm not willing to call it a lead, because how do you win?
Yeah, and that's just it. SVJ will get all of the orbs lit first, but poppadux already has the grind done. And poppadux has a natural black belt, not one that got its levels after promotion. So that plus the ribbons, I mean...
I think it's just the 1 ribbon for Papa, right? So I think they're essentially tied, because poppadux didn't do the cardia checks. So you've got a black belt that's kind of got its own ribbon and then 1, and SVJ has the 2 ribbons. I guess the difference is that a ribbon on a black belt means you have to equip gear to give it absorb. So there's some advantage still, but it's kind of a wash now.
Yeah, no, good points. So I think it does come back to those levels. And then if SaintVonJester does get levels, do we see him go to 25 on the mages and maybe go and pick up fast?
Yep, absolutely. poppadux is still taking fights. I like this. This is going to be more HP for those trailing mages, and every fight that you get, assuming it's not a terribly inefficient one, from here to the end of the game, that's 1 more level, that's more crit rate, that's more hits, potentially, or at least more hit percent. So those black belt stats will continue to scale, and every level will be worth it. But you do want to avoid encounters that are slow for low yield. I would consider this Worm Wyvern one to be one of those, but still turns out 1905 experience for poppadux's party.
Yeah, and that'll help for the mages if nothing else. I think he's around 22, 23 for the mages. SaintVonJester's still checking boxes. Now this one may be more about the Garot trap tile, but we've already seen this trap tile, so I wonder if it's about gear.
I mean, a defense sword, if he high rolls a defense sword, that changes the whole Topher calculation, because then anyone can win. You can win with a 21 black belt, a defense, and a ribbon, assuming that your mage stays alive long enough to cast fast on you.
Right, but you need fast, which we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, he's in a position to get it with his promotion, but you'd need levels, because that assumes that it's at level 7 or 8.
Yeah, so Shadow's got the magic up with spoiler tags, and I want to peek, but that would be cheating. So
I like the mystery.
SaintVonJester taking out the vampire, and poppadux about to fight Tiamat with that big black belt shouldn't be much of a problem.
Yep, we got an up and right fan here, poppadux. I know that the community likes to go some different directions on the Sky 4 maze, but poppadux with the up and right strats.
Oh, that's the only way to go.
I got some fire hydrants here. Not interested. They're fine experience, and looks like is that a vanilla cremate? I don't remember what they have in vanilla, but I think they have some kind of fire AoE.
I think you're right. I think it's cremate.
And just Gerst Snakes and Fire Elementals here down on the 4th floor for SVJ. We didn't see these tiles earlier. poppadux just blew past them to go straight to Lich. So yeah, SVJ wants experience. He knows he needs it. He hasn't found it. Warps there. That saves some steps from backtracking out of that top bank of chests.
Right, now Cheesinator, you and I were just working on this a couple of hours ago. There are in fact 2 trap tiles up in the armory. Did you see if SaintVonJester checked them both, or was it just one?
Yeah, it was those cobras was the other tile.
Oh, okay.
And slight stream hiccup there for SVJ. Meanwhile, poppadux, I think again with the first try break luck, so that's back-to-back Fiends first try break, is in go mode, 4 orbs lit, doesn't need anything else, maybe some supplies. Nope, the heals are at 99, so poppadux is ready for Topher.
Dang, that was fast. I did not think that he would finish that air before SaintVonJester got Lich down.
Yep, and I'd like to point out to everyone, by the way, that we're at the 110 mark on poppadux's screen. This is, Spring Tournament 2021. These flags, they go fast-ish, but they usually go faster when you have an early floater. And poppadux had a 56-minute floater. So we're seeing just a really solid overall route and game plan here coming together with poppadux being in a position to dive Topher and maybe finish by like 116, 117 if everything lines up.
Yeah, well, he's got the health for it. I mean, he's got the ribbons. He's got the ability to do damage. Got temper. There's no real reason, unless we're looking at a nasty Topher here, that this shouldn't happen for poppadux. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. Looks like a little bit of stream difficulty with SaintVonJester on the right. I'm not sure what's going on there. Just take a quick look at the race room and see if there's any intelligence here. And I don't see anything here. Just we're talking that the game's not showing.
Yeah, poppadux down on the earth floor. Mudrolls, not interested. There might be a fight or two. I think that you still take in Topher at this level. Certainly, if I'm running into a pack of 6 to 7 Gurmadusas, I'll throw out some of those Fire 2, Fire 3 kind of spells that you don't need. I wouldn't waste any charges. That's on a level with something more precious, though. And but we haven't even seen any Gurmadusas, so that's not an issue. We are taking a lot of physical damage from some of these fights, so we'll have to heal up before Lich in case a nuke or nuclear gets uncorked. And yeah, because we don't want those mages to drop. We need them at least as far as about Tiamat. I think that a black belt with 800 HP could solo Chaos. It would really depend on how physical that Chaos was. But regardless, we're pulling the first Fiendry fight, which is Lich 2, 500 to 750 HP, so not going to be very big, and down in one punch.
Yeah, Lich is known as the speed bump for good reason, as poppadux takes it out. Really just, smashing through this Topher. And Carrie, we did see the first time through. A little bit tricky for SaintVonJester, but SVJ did manage to pull it off. Let's see what Carrie 2 has in store. So we've got a high absorb carry, but the crits coming from the black belt are doing serious work.
Oh, Poison Smoke, though, comes out and takes out 3 Light Warriors, but the one with the Maza is alive to finish off carry and is going to be able to life to the party back to health.
Yeah, and there's your ribbon putting in work. Able to resurrect everybody. The black belt at level 35, surprising to see that go through, but it's not invulnerable at those levels, and you can see that it worked in that case. So poppadux continuing through the sea floor, looks like hugging the walls. That's a good strategy in here. Will help you to avoid some encounters, and in the seafloor, you want to avoid as many encounters as you possibly can. There's some nasty packs in here. Makes it all the way through, doesn't even need to reorganize a party, and we're on to a Kraken 2 fight. This is the real gatekeeper of the sea.
Yep. In this scaling, I don't think Kraken ever does 839 to a black belt, so the top row isn't that unsafe here. If we were working with like 400 HP, it'd be a different story. That's 570 damage already on the first round. This Kraken's going to be between 900 and 1350 HP, so we're looking at 1 to 2 more punches. It's probably going to be 2 because the evasion is high. No, Fire 3 finishes it off. Wow, that is a resisted spell, by the way. The Fire 3 did like 29 and was just enough chip to do the damage.
Yeah, I mean, poppadux still flying, on track for sub 120 and without the floater until, well, basically the end of the seed. This is an impressive time so far.
Yep, coming into Tiamat here, more temper strats. You really like to see this. This is actually one of the secret powerhouse moves that these triple black caster parties can pull off. You just roll into these final fiend fights and you go like fast temper or triple temper, and after one round your melee is doing gargantuan damage.
Yeah, so poppadux, just being careful to keep the black belt and the life 2 caster with the Mazamune at max health. That is smart. We could see a nuke come out, and as you see there, there's sweepers that can take out the whole party if you're not careful. But poppadux gets Tiamat 2 down and is gonna make this last little run. There could be a lot of encounters here on this last little leg. Makes it through clean to chaos.
Yep, at this level for a black belt with no ribbon, that zap was like 20% chance to land, so a little bit lucky there that poppadux's Tiamat didn't have the same luck that poppadux had against Kraken and Tiamat 1. And pulls Chaos here with a full party and is just gonna bonk up and get ready for some big punches.
Yeah, so poppadux, mixing up the buffs, we've got 2 Invis 2 casts and 2 Temper casts. That's going to get us 1/3 of the way to the evade cap, which against Chaos really matters. This is a case where you could have also seen the party reshuffled again, but poppadux just relying on that big HP pool of the Black Belt to soak up as much as possible. Continuing with the Invis 2, we're going to go as high as we can on evade. Continuing with the bonks, but we're out of them on that last black mage, so why not switch to some black up chip damage? The black belt is really bumped up at this point. I think we're going to see a swing on the next round.
Yep, I like this strategy. It's just about everything you need. You don't have wall, so if you wait too long and Chaos has crack or zap on the script, you could be penalized for spending too much time casting Invis instead of offensive buffs like lock temper and so on. But I think we're going to be fine here with the relative health and power on that black belt. Chaos missing, so the Invis has already done its job.
Yep, we're up to max invade. It looked like something like 300 damage, so not the huge totals that you're used to seeing black belts throw down. Only 2 hits. This is a case where lock might come in handy, and I'm not sure if poppadux ever picked it up. We see some damage poison come out. That does slow things down a little bit, but that last black mage is not doing too much anyways. Lock would really be the game changer here, and I'm just not seeing it in the spell list, so we're going to have to rely on tempers. That will get us there as long as Chaos doesn't have anything nasty in store.
Yep, I agree. Fire 3 coming out, I mean, it worked on Kraken for the chip damage, so why not use it here? Chaos not doing anything threatening. The more Chaos attacks, the more this fight's outcome is certain. What we really don't want to see is, swirl, tornado, nuclear, those kinds of things come out.
Yep, so we're down to a damage race. The red mage is tempering himself. That might have been an intentional backup just in case, but I think it was probably a misclick. Doing some serious damage now, though. 800 damage from the black belt. I think we're about 1,500 or so we're getting there.
Ooh,
Nuclear coming
wow.
out, taking out a bunch of light warriors that aren't doing too much anyways. And there we go, big Maza swing. Fittingly, it's the red mage, the Mazamune red mage with the ribbon, saving the day for poppadux and getting the game.
Get out your GGs in chat for poppadux, who finishes in first place. Looks like their on-stream timer might have been a bit behind the official time, which was... Oh, no, it's 1:18:53. Okay, so the timer is just still running. 1:18:53 is the official racetime.gg time for poppadux. Big congrats. We can confirm that as of 10 minutes ago, SVJ in real time, of course, this is a delay, had forfeited the race. We're going to be trying to get poppadux in here for an invite, and we'll have that for you shortly.
Yeah, so while we're waiting, I'll just take a minute and update on how ePod is doing. So in ePod, we've got 4 different racers. Of course, we saw poppadux today and SaintVonJester. With this win, poppadux will advance to 2-1. SaintVonJester will fall to 0, 2, and 1. Looks like SaintVonJester has tied with Min. I'm not exactly sure what that means. Did you hear about that? How do you get a tie?
There in the official rules, I think ties are races that finish within like 2 or 3 seconds. I don't remember the exact number, but things that are close enough to be like disputable, basically, are ties, and a re-race is the standard procedure to fall back on.
Wow, that must have been an intense race. I didn't get to see that one. I did see the first one between Min and, well, I guess it was poppadux, although my memory's playing tricks on me now. Anyways, what I was going to say was Gregory Puff leads the pod with 3 wins and will advance to the round of 64. Poppadux is now 2-1, which makes it pretty likely that he'll advance to the round of 64. I'm not sure exactly how all the math works out. I think it has to do with how everybody does. So there's a chance that some people with 2-1 might have to play an additional match in order to advance. But Poppadux in pretty safe territory now. Min on SaintVonJester, on the other hand, are on the lower end of that spectrum.
Yeah, I think also Min was a drop from the tournament. Poppadux is in the setup room. Let's pull him in here for an interview. And we are joined in the booth by tonight's winner. Poppadux, how are you feeling? GG.
I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Tell us a little bit about your strategy for victory there. How do you feel that things went for you?
Honestly, when I found when I finally went back to Marsh and found the crystal, and then found the floater at like 55 minutes, I was sure I was way behind. I don't even remember where I found the Oxyale. I know it was like 45 minutes in. I didn't have any way into Sea Shrine or Mirage and Sky. And I wasn't feeling good then, but then everything just kind of fell together, and I found my grind in Ordeals. Wasn't the perfect grind, but it worked.
It was the Waterfall Agamas, right? With the
it was Waterfall
Mazza?
that I found it in. Yes, it was Waterfall, not Ordeals.
Yep.
Yeah, that's also, if I can just jump in here quickly, that's also how you got the Oxyale. It was a quest chain. So the robot gave you the crown, and then Astos gave you the
Right,
TNT,
that's
and
what it
then
was.
you turned in the Oxyale, and then you kind of waffled like, oh, should I check Marsh or should I go back down there? We were on the edge of our seats wondering what you were going to do.
I knew at that point the only two places I had access to were Marsh and Sea, so I knew Marsh was going to be required at some point. So I went ahead and went to Marsh.
Yeah, sorry, I jumped in on you, Cheesinator.
Oh, that's fine. All questions are good. So what else? The most part of your run was probably the part where all but one Light Warrior died to that instant kill spell on Kraken. Was it Kraken or Tiamat?
It was Carrie.
Oh, it was Carrie. Okay. Yeah. Your backup strats with the second Light Warrior who had the Mazza and the ribbon, that was really paying off for you.
My heart sank when I saw that come out, because at that point I didn't remember re-equipping my mages after my grind. I unequipped them to kill them off, and I did not remember re-equipping them. So I thought my red mage just got lucky.
Yeah, I think
it turned out I did re-equip. I had
pretty
re-equipped them. So.
With the resists as well on the damaging spells and stuff.
Yeah.
So you've got a record that, unless there's a very strange distribution of other records across the other pods, that this should lock you into brackets. All the 3-0s get seeded, then all the 2-1s get seeded, and anyone that remains after that goes into the play-in race. I think anyone with at least one win. So you got to be feeling good about your position in the tournament.
Yep. I'm excited to keep going. Yeah.
And what else was I going to ask? I don't know. The seed really threw you some good fortune, but you had to make some of your own fortune. Your only ribbon was one that you found by taking a detour into the volcano after Ice Cave.
Yeah, I was looking for grind at that point. I thought about trying to take out Carrie then, but I figured with just fire spells, and I was only at like level 10 or 11 at the time. I hadn't found fast or temper. I never found fast. It just wasn't worth the risk. So I went in there, checked the grind tiles, and got out. Yep,
good call. Fast was I didn't see it myself. Our tracker knows from possibly looking through the FF Hackster, but we didn't see it on screen for either runner, so it must have been level 8. And that might have been what SVJ was promoting for. By the way, he promoted, you didn't. But he had 2 ribbons, you had 1, kind of ended up being a wash in the end. SVJ was ahead of you in orb progression and like key item progression for most of the game, but it makes sense given that you stopped to grind for about 7 minutes, 8 minutes.
Yeah. I figured I had to do it at some point, and I was running out of trap tiles to check. So I took what I could get and went from there.
Let's see. Yeah, overall, this is just a really good showing. I think everyone knows that, the finish times that we're seeing in this tournament on these pod races, they're between, say, 105 and 120, and if you get into that window somewhere in your seed, depending on how difficult of a seed it is, you've got a chance to beat your opponent. You clocked in a 118, so just want to congratulate you on a really good finish time today.
Thank you.
Rock Solid, do you have any more questions here for our winner tonight?
Yeah, not too much. I do have one here, but I just wanted to also echo, yeah, poppadux, a really great race. I mean, watching it, we weren't really sure. I was thinking anyways that with the airship that SVJ had the edge on you, but really surprisingly quickly, everything changed in the end. And without the airship until very late, you still pulled a sub 120. Very impressive. But what I wanted to ask was just a little detail. There was a point where you realized that C was required, and you went back to C, and you went into C, and you opened your first box on the right-hand side was the incentive item. Good to go. You were off. What I wanted to know was, were you thinking about going all right and going down to the mermaids, or were you thinking about just checking that one box on the right and then going left to the feet?
I always go right, then left, and hope that I find it that way, and then go back if I have to.
Honestly, I might have to start doing that.
This time.
Cheeseinator called that out in chat, or as we were watching. He said, sometimes people do that. They check that right chest even though they're going left. I never occurred to me, but it worked for you tonight, so good job.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it definitely paid off.
Yeah, so no, that's pretty much it for me. I don't know if we're going to get SVJ in here. Are we, Cheeseinator? Do you know?
Don't believe so. The race room closed after the result was recorded, so there's been no further chatter there. So how about we move on to final thoughts for the night? poppadux, do you have anything else to say about your run, about the tournament, that you'd like to let the chat know?
Not really, just having a great time. This is the first tournament I've done with you guys. I haven't been playing very long. I haven't been playing the randomizer very long. I've been playing the game for 30 years, but just having a great time. I love the community and keep doing what we're doing.
Fantastic. All right. Well, why don't I notify everyone here? We've got more FFR action tonight. You can either head over to the SpeedGaming Family Network's ongoing race between Papa Foys and Rojo on SpeedGaming 3. Ongoing race also right now on broadcast partner Randomania. That's Randomania 2 has Fryteeth versus Psytown. And then just a little bit later tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have Ale Markin versus Dengwu on Randomania 1. That is just twitch.tv/randomania. So please continue to check out our tournament action. Additionally, SpeedGaming is going to be putting on the No Kid Hungry Marathon next month, and tomorrow is the last day for submissions. So if you're planning to run anything, please get those in. I'd like to thank the tournament staff, organizers, Danny and Greg Lupuff, so many others who have been keeping this thing running, getting up all of our race rooms and everything. Thank our tracker tonight, Shadowed Flames, and my co-commentator, Rock Solid. It's been a pleasure. Rock Solid, why don't you take us out?
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you have enjoyed this particular presentation by the Final Fantasy Randomizer community. If you like races, we got races for you. Cheeseinator just gave you the breakdown of all the other races that are happening right now. This is going to be continuing for the next couple of weeks as we continue this spring tournament action. So keep it locked here on SpeedGaming, and join the Discord if you want to get the specifics in terms of what's coming up next. But it's all been said, and we're going to wrap this up, folks. So one last time, I'm RockSolid84 for Cheeseinator and the rest of the Final Fantasy Randomizer community. We want to thank you for joining us. Want to remind you that until next time, you always got to remember to keep your head up and don't forget to go fast.